Fellas, Sean Strickland did it. The biggest upset of the year, in my opinion. One of the biggest upsets in UFC title fight history, in my opinion. I can't believe that Sean Strickland won this fight. If you'd have asked me to give Sean Strickland a percentage chance of winning, it probably would not have been above 15%. I still can't believe that Sean Strickland has just beaten Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya, who's basically dominated the middleweight division, coming off a knockout over Alex Pereira, has just been dominated by Sean Strickland of all people. I still can't believe it. Talking about the Tartu Ivalza and Volkov fight, it was a good fight, I guess. I expected Volkov to win, and he did. Volkov's in a really weird position because there's not really too much contenders for him to fight because he's already lost to Gon and Aspinall, and that just shows how good they are. But maybe we give Tuivasa like a Marcin Tybura. But anyway, Sean Strickland is the UFC champion, and I'm so happy for it. Yeah, there's so much hype surrounding Sean Strickland right now, and he is. Sean Strickland's the GOAT. Let's be completely honest, right? Sean Strickland is the greatest middleweight of all time, 100%. Listen, if Anderson Silva wants to compete with Sean Strickland, Silva's going to have to come back and get around 10 title defenses. He's the greatest middleweight of all time in my books. Up there with, Chael Sonnen in the GOAT list, in my opinion. I still can't believe that Sean Strickland just did that. He's the middleweight champion. Sean Strickland has just defeated Israel Adesanya. Can you believe it? Dana's fuming, by the way. If you look at the post-fight press conference, Dana White is fuming that Sean Strickland's beating Adesanya. But no, Sean Strickland is the greatest middleweight of all time, and he will never be topped. He did what Whittaker couldn't do, what Jared Cannonier couldn't do, what Silva couldn't do, what Pereira did but couldn't do the second time. How many other examples? What Gastelum couldn't do. Sean Strickland has just gone out there. What Paulo Costa couldn't do. Sean Strickland has just gone out there and dominated Adesanya. And I say dominated because it wasn't like a Leon Edwards head kick where he got a last minute knockout. No, he dominated him the entire fight. That first round where he dropped Adesanya, and I think he's the first person in the UFC to drop Adesanya. I don't think Adesanya's ever been dropped in the UFC because when he got finished by Pereira, actually no, Adesanya did get finished. I'm pretty sure he did get dropped by Pereira. The second person to drop Adesanya in the UFC, I'm pretty sure. But either way, GOAT status for Sean Strickland. And I've noticed a trend. A lot of these kind of trash-talking, unexpected fighters are starting to become champion. We had Sean O'Malley beat Aljamain Sterling. We've just had Sean Strickland beat Adesanya. Some people think Covington's next to beat Leon Edwards, but Sean Strickland, middleweight GOAT. He just dominated Adesanya and nearly finished him. In that first round, I actually thought he was going to get stopped. I genuinely thought Strickland was going to finish Adesanya there and then. It was just pure domination. Pure domination where he dropped him and Adesanya was covering up, and I thought that Mark Goddard, you know what Mark Goddard's like, I thought he was going to finish the fight there and then. I don't think anyone expected Strickland to drop Adesanya. Strickland won nearly every round. Maybe one round was given to Adesanya, maybe round two, but every other round, Strickland's round, he just dominated Adesanya, and I did not expect that. Adesanya, one of the best kickboxers in the UFC, knocked out Pereira, outstruck nearly every single fighter he's ever fought with. And then you've got Sean Strickland coming in with, looks like a terrible stance, doesn't pass the eye test, but either way, goes in there and absolutely dominates Adesanya. I just did not expect that at all. I didn't expect that at all, to be honest with you. Sean Strickland dominated Adesanya and nearly finishing him. I still can't believe it now. Like, when I found out that was the result, I was like, there's no way. The thing is, we've had so many upsets this year. At UFC 290, we had Dricus beat Whittaker. 291, we had Poirier beat Gaethje. 292, we just had O'Malley beat Sterling. And now we've got Strickland beat Oliver. No, not Oliveira. Strickland beat Adesanya. I'm sure a lot of people are happy because Adesanya has got a lot of haters. And the problem with Adesanya now is that Adesanya, he's not really liked for his personality. He's liked for his fighting. So when his fighting starts going down, a bad hole, and when his fighting starts getting worse, that's not a good spot for Adesanya. People like Strickland because of his personality, but if his personality is matched up with some good, like genuinely good fighting, because if he becomes like a genuinely insane fighter, he's everything the UFC wants, and Adesanya doesn't deserve a rematch. I know UFC are going to push it, Dana White's fuming, but he doesn't deserve a rematch. He didn't even get a defense. He won the belt off Pereira, then lost it immediately. No defense. It should be Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. If not, it should be Strickland versus the winner of Paulo Costa and Chimaev. Either way, Adesanya doesn't deserve a rematch, but Strickland dominated him. And another thing is he didn't just dominate him in the octagon. He 10-8'd him in the press conference. But no, it's just kind of annoying for Adesanya because he got destroyed at the press conference. What was supposed to happen was Strickland was supposed to destroy Adesanya at the press conference, and then we all expected Adesanya to finish Strickland in the fight. But it was just double. It was two wrongs for Adesanya. He got destroyed in the press conference, gets hated by the crowd, and then gets destroyed in the octagon. 10-8 in the press conference, 10-7 in the octagon. It couldn't have gone worse for Adesanya. It couldn't have gone worse. And the thing is, I don't know what... Like, if he does rematch Sean Strickland, like, at least when he rematched with Alex Pereira, he came in with this whole silent, no trash talk aura and then knocked him out. But he went with that silent aura this time, and then he ended up getting beaten by Strickland. So I don't know what he's going to come up with next time. But Strickland 10-8'd him in the press conference. Then went out there and delivered a 10-7 in the octagon like it was nothing. Sean Strickland absolutely just manhandled Adesanya. And another thing is, only middleweight in UFC history to dominate Adesanya. He's the only middleweight in UFC history to actually dominate Adesanya. Obviously, the Jan Blachowicz fight was at light heavyweight. And Alex Pereira, he didn't dominate Adesanya. The first fight with Adesanya, he was losing the fight on points. He got out wrestled. Then I'd say he was losing in the striking department, and then he goes out there and finishes him. And then the same thing obviously in the rematch, Adesanya knocks him out. Strickland's the first middleweight in UFC history to dominate Adesanya, beat him round after round after round, no questions asked, and then go out there to win a decision. And I kind of like it that way, because if Strickland would have gone out there and slept Adesanya, of course it would have been funny, but people would have been calling it a fluke. People would have been saying Adesanya is ready for the next fight. But to go out there and beat Adesanya for 5 rounds straight and become the middleweight champion, that's got to be better for Strickland and worse for Adesanya, because now Adesanya knows that it wasn't a fluke finish and Strickland can genuinely beat me in the fight. Maybe Adesanya's game plan will be different, but he's the only middleweight in UFC history to fully dominate Adesanya. And he did. I know I said this, but he's done what no other middleweight could do. No other middleweight could do that to Adesanya. Like, honestly, no other middleweight could do that to Adesanya. Every other middleweight that Adesanya's fought have either been finished by him or lost a point fight. And the only one that isn't that is Alex Pereira, who just recently got knocked out by him. So, Strickland, he's making records nowadays. First, greatest middleweight of all time. And talking of Alex Pereira, Pereira's now 4-1. Pereira's now 4-1 as an MMA fighter. And not as an MMA fighter in Adesanya's, in this feud with Adesanya, because it was 3-1. Pereira beats Adesanya 3 times. Adesanya beats him once. And Adesanya's fans are all, Pereira's trash. Pereira's beaten Adesanya 3 times. Twice in kickboxing. One of the times he needed an oxygen tank. The other times he TKO'd him in the octagon. And the only other one was Adesanya knocking him out in the octagon. But he's now 4-1. He's realised that he can't make middleweight anymore. It's too much of a cut. It's too bad on his chin. So he's decided to team up with Sean Strickland. He trained Sean Strickland, and he sent Sean Strickland out as his mini sergeant to go out there and take out Adesanya for him. So now Pereira's 4-1. He trained Strickland as his, as the next coming of Pereira. Sean Pereira comes out, knocks out, finishes him, didn't finish him, but beats Adesanya, and now Pereira's 4-1 in the fights with Adesanya. So Adesanya needs to knock out Pereira 5 more times or 4 more times to even come close to Pereira's record. But Adesanya, it's not looking good for him. He's been dominated by Strickland, and now he's 4-1 against Pereira, 2 of his biggest rivals right now. Well, maybe excluding Dricus du Plessis, but thank you to everyone who prayed for this. I was contemplating doing a prayer video for Strickland just to ensure that he gets the win, but thank you to everyone who prayed that Sean Strickland won, who knew that Sean Strickland would win, and yeah, guys, let's just stay blessed because Sean Strickland is the middleweight champion of the world. Thank you for watching.